Alright, here we go. Oh, that's not. And alright, part 2. Let's see what we got. So you have the right idea here. It's just, it can be a little bit cleaner. Okay, so you have the right idea that you dash off here. Dashing downstairs and walking downstairs is the same. Even walking diagonally down the stairs doesn't save enough time to make it worth it. So yeah, just dash down the stairs and hop off of here. But what you want to do here is keep your sword out. Okay. And then just walk down to here with your sword out. The amount that you're slowed down is mitigated by not having to slash the sword again. So keep your sword out, and then press A when you come up to this ledge to ledge hop off, and then walk down to there and do your spin speed. So this is what it looks like in real time. Like that. So what we're doing here is we're intentionally slowing down to make the strat easier. And when you add everything up, it just ends up being faster. So you may get to certain checkpoints in this room a little faster by doing some shenanigans like this, but we just make it easier by making this a full dash. Okay, so here you have a clean dash line right here, like this. This entire box right here is a clean dash line. You want this one because you want to hit the slope and get a little bit of a boost. Also, it's less ground that you're going to have to make up on the next screen, because if you transition down here, then you're going to have to make up this extra ground that you dashed. So here's the path. Don't be afraid of that guy, he can't hit you. So you want to go, yeah, so you want to go down. And to get on the correct, you just want to go down from here, which I think you did. Then to get on the correct dash line, you want to dash between this white line on the water and this bubble on the water. Okay. So like that. And then you'll... I guess you don't hit the slope then? Yeah, I guess you don't hit the slope. I wasn't remembering that correctly. So yeah, just look for that dash line right here. This is always going to be clean. There's never going to be anybody in your way, and even if there is, you have the sword out to knock them away. And this is just like, this is the first pixel that you can dash on without bonking on these guys. Yep, not much to that one. Okay, you can do that dash a lot tighter to this tree. So the tree looks a lot bigger than it actually is. So the tree's hitbox is actually here. Like you can see Link is actually kind of standing on top of the tree a little bit, and definitely goes below the foliage there. So this is the dash line that you want to take. This screen is all about clean dash line, long clean dash lines. So like minimizing the amount of times that you have to charge a dash is quintessential to getting a good time on this screen. Watch the rest of this. Yeah, you definitely want to be right up against this hedge. That'll come with practice. You're just overshooting these dashes by a little bit, and it's causing you to bleed some frames. Yeah, like there, you can dash closer to the hedge as well. All right, now the important part. We see the Kiki hop. Oh, that's a big old hop. All right. No wonder this was a PB. You're blessed. All right, let's test this movement that you just did. So, you did something like this. 609. 608. 606. Alright, now here's my proposal. Walk, dash, dash. It's the same time, but you don't have to be as perfect on... Oh, see, there was a little faster. You don't have to be as precise as with the other strat, because with the other strat, you need to know exactly when the button lets go so that you can dash, whereas for this, you're not even hitting the button until you're in your final dash. And then we'll combine the two here. This initial dash doesn't actually save time because you're going up almost exactly 4 tiles. So, that's why you walk. Yep. That menu can be put anywhere. I usually what you do is on the Kiki hop screen. Let me do this whole thing. But on the Kiki hop screen, right before you turn Kiki in, you menu to mirror there. All right, and then once you start this dash up, this is where you menu, because you see where Link is. When your sword is touching that black line, that's the last pixel that you can stop the dash and walk backwards. So what you're doing here is just pausing to try and get the right position to get Kiki to run up to Link by facing backwards and then forwards again. The reason that you do it this way is Kiki walks really, really slow during the cutscene, and we don't really want to let him walk for as much as possible. You just make a shorter path like that. But if you don't want a menu there, then it can be anywhere in that segment. I would say wait until after the gap to past the moblins. Okay, that's another menu that can be done basically anywhere. I do it in the room just to read the RNG. There's a couple RNGs that blueberry can take that's gonna kind of get in your way, and it's good to know when you need to pull it out, but you can do that menu anytime. I would definitely menu to mirror before picking up the chest. Always menu to your mirror before you pick up a chest. Nice ledge hop. Okay. That's acceptable. I don't know how much that dash actually saves. So you'll notice I put the bombs so that they're not overlapping each other. So that I always pick up the correct bomb. It's more of a superstition thing than anything else. Putting them on top of each other in theory is fine. I just don't necessarily trust it for a run. Alright, we're gonna check on this dash here, because I don't know how much time it actually saves. Alright, let's 349, 347, 345. Somewhere between 345 and 350 versus... Alright, let's go to chest. 701. So about 645 versus this much easier strat, 655. So this dash down only saves like 10 frames at the cost of bonk, which is 70 frames plus your however much you need to go back, like 2 tiles. So the dash does save time. Up to you whether it's too risky to save 10 frames. I do it. A lot of people I see do it, so it's not actually all that risky. I'm just suggesting something a bit easier that like wastes a minimal amount of time. And that dash definitely didn't save time. That's not it. So here, you definitely want to use the menu here to line up the shot, because here I'm looking at where Link is right now. This should be fine. So then I just cancel left and shoot. Essentially what I'm looking for here is for Link's ear to be like fully above the bottom of the chest, so I would need like one more frame here. That's too high. But anyway, that's... And then you just adjust. Too high, so you adjust, and you can either charge your dash there or just do another ledge hop, which you don't really seem to have much trouble with. I think the ledge hop is faster. I'm not 100% sure how much faster. If you didn't already know how to do it, I wouldn't recommend it, but since you already know, then it's fine. 5 frames, maybe. Yeah, I don't even go for sexy statue. I know it saves a significant amount of time, but I just can't be arsed to learn it, so I just take that loss. I still get good times without it. So you did the right thing there, which is sword beam the switch, skip the spike and whatnot. Like what you did there is correct. You can just do it a lot faster. So I would play around with that room in the Prakak and see like how close you can actually be to like the spike. So these spikes, their hitbox is actually like basically just this box in the center. So you can be standing like fully in this like 2 pixel area and not take any damage. Uh Likewise over here you can be standing like slightly above this corner on the other side and then do a dash turn to the right and still make it. So, yeah, I would play around that room a little bit, see how close you can actually get. Okay. Good turtles. Yeah. Walking technically dashing twice is the strat for that pre Helma room, but if you don't want to deal with it, there's nothing wrong with just walking. We're talking single digit frames there. Nice. Nice. Very nice fight. So you seem to know like the basics of what to do in that dungeon, which is fine. You can just get it to be a little bit faster. Looks like that might have been. Looks like you had a little bit of trouble in your last PB, so 622. That's not nothing. 622 is definitely good enough for sub 90. Probably good enough for about 128. So if you can do that every time, don't sweat the small stuff. Keep your 622 and go on. So that screen was a bit of a mess. We're gonna go all the way back to the beginning. Here is fine. You can get like maybe 1 pixel closer to the hedge there, but it's fine. Yeah. That was walking up there is correct, but you just want to dash through this guy. He has a 1 out of 16 chance to hit you, but you just say a swear word at him and you move on. Ultimately, you don't really need those 2 hearts for Thieves Town, but I will show you where to get some health later on if you feel like you need it. And yeah, and this is kind of why you want to dash is because you're gonna knock this guy away. You're gonna lock this guy into whatever movement pattern he wants to be in, which is fine because what you don't want him to do is to have his thing tink when you're right here and then decide to start going this way. because you want to have time. You want to have time to run through here, and you don't need this guy getting in your way. Wrong with that. Wrong with that. That diagonal's probably fine, actually. By and large, if you're hookshotting, you want a diagonal into the hookshot, but if you're dashing, you want to cardinal down into the dash. That's just because of the properties of the hookshot. Basically, you want to move. You want to cover as many pixels as possible with a dash because dashing is faster. But in such a tiny space like that, it doesn't really matter. You definitely want to diagonal into here and even slide off of here if you need to, because then you can just hold the diagonal until you see it. Because this actually has like an L shape to it, or like a Tetris piece shape to it. So you want to diagonal here until, and then you want to hold this diagonal until you hit here, and then you can dash down. So that little walk to the side isn't actually necessary as long as you do it right. There's two ways to set this up. You can either just get all the way on the right side of that hedge maze, and then you dash down to the top of the shadow of the cliff, and then this guy can't hit you. Show that a few times. Basically, don't be more scared of that guy than you need to be. Like, have a healthy respect for him, but, like, ultimately, I was in the wrong spot. I was in the wrong spot there, too, but that'll... So, your other option here is to nudge this tree. So you want to be on, like... You want to be on, like, this dash line, basically. So your other option is to down right into here, and then instead of waiting for it to down right again, you just go straight down. Well. Okay. That's not exactly right, so you do the down right, and then as soon as you see Link go one more pixel down right, you can just go, and then you'll nudge off the tree. When you nudge off of this tree, you can go a little higher than the shadow, but I would just use the shadow for your reference for now, and then you can see exactly... And you can see exactly how much you have to work with later. So, just be quick here, and you won't have to make any weird evasive maneuvers. Make sure you set it up right. You actually want to dash as soon as you can here, because even hitting it up here is not gonna give you a slow boost, and even if it does, it's still faster than walking down that extra tile. All right, that's good if you want to be safe, but you actually only need to walk down one tile. So you hit that, or one step, sorry. So you're right, you go down, you actually want to be as close to these statues as you can, so you want to kind of dash on that line, but it's fine, this should still work. And then once you knock this guy away, all you have to do is just make sure... I would take maybe like 3 or 4 steps diagonal down left and then hammer dash. So like maybe just slightly before you did. So like anytime from like there, anytime from like here to when you actually started the hammer dash, you could have started it. Right, you actually want to fix yourself here, which you're probably going to end up doing, yeah, right there. So what most people do here is they fix themselves up here so that they dash against these bushes. If you dash against these bushes, they're on the same grid line as this cliff right here, and then you don't have to fix yourself later. So you go straight up and then you just go, because here by fixing yourself like this, you're doing this 2 tile movement at half of the speed that you would with the boots. Now it will take like a frame or 2 longer to set it up going cardinally rather than diagonally, but you'll save that 1 or 2 frames on the long dash line. All right. So optimally you want to do like the same dash as you want to do before. When you did this in the light world, you want to go through this first bush and then down through the second bush. The reason you don't want to do this is A, because of the slope, and B, because every time you run through a bush, you actually get stopped temporarily. So you're losing some pixels of movement there. Right, you actually want to go a little bit further down here. You actually want to take this dash line between these 2 rocks, because that puts you closer to the tree. And then that also affords you this dash line. So you want to dash down and then dash left. So you want to make this dash line as long as you can. Just a quick aside, if you get hit on the pod screen before / this bush, before you go up, this is a 50-50 fairy bush. And it will, as far as I know, it will always drop a fairy. And it's just a straight up 50-50. Alright, and then on the next screen, you actually want to nudge to the left a little bit so that you're clear of the stump up here. So let's see where the stump is. And then this is your visual cue for where you want to dash. Because then you can just cancel against the stump and then start talking to him. Okay, so just a little bit, just like nudge over the tiniest bit. You can actually diagonal here, because when you transition onto this screen, you're not going to be able to go fully left there. You have to go up first a little bit, so it's fine to just diagonal into position. Okay, grabbing the stump here is fine because it makes the text scroll faster. And you're not in like what we would call the optimal position. Yep. So there's a quick warp here that you want to hit. This is as far up as you can dock to him, by the way. And this saves time over grabbing the stump. Well, it saves like a nominal amount of time over grabbing the stump. Now here is where my OBS capture is a little bit different than my TV's capture. My TV, the border, the plastic border of my TV actually overlays my screen by a few pixels. So what I look for here, so I'm holding up left out of this menu, and then I'm looking at this tree. Let me go to your video. Looking at this tree right here, specifically this part. So this black line right here should be right up against the edge of the screen. Now, you don't see that on my capture. It looks like it's a pixel off, and that's because I'm on the bad quick warp pixel, quote unquote bad quick warp pixel. This is the good quick warp pixel. Now you can see on my capture, it shows that little line of light pixels next to the line that I want to look at, but it does not show that on my TV. So this is the pixel that you want to be on. The reason here is that A, it's a quick warp, and B, you can just menus to the shovel and then hold up out of the menu and then walk straight over. Whereas if you're on this other quick warp pixel, you'll actually lose. You won't get the dig spot that you need. You'll get. Oh, okay. Maybe you will. But anyway, yeah. Definitely want to try for the quick warp. There's multiple quick warps that you can go for in here. Seen people use like that one before. But the easy one is just like you just hit it by holding up left after the box. So quick warps I would say are definitely worth learning or at least going for, just because they like as long as you're not taking forever to set them up, they're kind of free because you have to warp anyway, and if you don't at least go for it, then you have like almost no chance of actually hitting it. And even if you go for it and mess it up, you're not really losing much time. A quick warp saves 34 frames over a regular warp. So, worth it to me. You can decide they're not worth it to you. That's fine. Okay. Technically, you want to get a little closer to this tree right here. Like you want to take the slope dash and you want to cancel it here. This is actually really hard for me to cancel and not like end up backtracking this way. So the way you're doing it is fine. It's just I'm just pointing out that optimally you want to dash for about 2 more tiles. And then you definitely want to hold your sword through this so you don't have to reslash. Definitely hold your sword out here. It will if you dash through a screen transition, as long as you're holding the sword button when you gain control of Link, then he'll hold his sword out like this. So you have a while to switch buttons there if you need to. Okay. You do want to get like in position here. There's a nice guide that you have right here. Just go straight along this hedge and you'll you'll go straight up through the gap there. And again, technically you want to take a diagonal path from here to here and do your flute right here, but that's whatever. Dashed a little early there, but that's fine. It's fine to be early there and not lose any time. Alright, so first thing, if you have lost health at any point and you tried for the fairy and it didn't spawn, or you forgot about the fairy, so if you're down health here at any point, you can dash and bunk into this. This will drop you 4 apples, each of which regains a heart. Second thing is that this screen, there is no RNG to this screen at all. What you want to do, dash up here, cancel, dash, cancel. No, that wasn't clean. This is what you do. Dash up to there, cancel left, over to here. Actually, that's a bit of an overshot. Move out here, just so you're not going to bonk this tree. And then you want to dash up to cut the bush, and then by that time, the guard will freeze. Sometimes he'll go really, really low and kind of fake you out a little bit, but he never goes lower. He never goes low enough to hit you. The thing is, though, for this screen, you need to be extremely deliberate and precise with your dashes. And know when you're dashing and why. So, if you see that the guard is a little low and that you are not clean, just slash him out of the way and get off the screen. Now, here's an alternate strat. It loses some amount of time. I don't know how much, but basically just walk above this signpost right here, and then you only do 2 dashes, and then that's a little less precise than the other way. And it still works. Maybe it doesn't work every time, but sometimes it works. It doesn't lose that much time, but a little less precise. I like doing that because I like flexing on the guards. But if you want to do the easier strat, then that's fine too. You're not going to lose too much time. You know what will lose you more time, though, is holding your sword out during that mosaic transition. Every time you go through a mosaic transition with your sword out, it adds 15 lag frames. It has to draw the sword, and it has to check the sword state and stuff like that. So don't go through mosaic transitions with your sword out. Always cancel your sword before going through the mosaic transitions. That matters here. It matters when you're leaving, or it matters in Dark Skull Woods, and it matters at Zora's domain. So that's a perfectly fine place to hammer. FMG and will tell you, and most other people you'll see will menu. So that's fine. You set that up right, but most other people will menu here and kind of go for this dash on this style. So they'll dash all the way over to here, and then they'll menu to hammer, and then they'll just either walk out or dash and cancel out. Walking out is actually probably better, because then you don't have to get that precise dash cancel when you're in here. But if you want to save the menu to here, that's perfectly fine as well. Just whenever you do menu, you can get a little riskier with your dash. You don't have to do this safe cancel here. You can get as close to this tree as you want, just as long as you don't bonk off of it, because your menu is going to help you not bonk there. You want to hammer dash that. It's slightly faster to walk left and then dash up and dash left, but we're talking a few, like maybe 10 frames. So dashing that high isn't bad, but if you do want to take this dash line here to give yourself a longer dash line over here, then you just want to walk this. This isn't. Is that worth dashing? Maybe. E39. Yeah. Yeah, that dash isn't worth it. Oh. Maybe it is. E36. E38. I do get dashing there to save a couple of frames, but alright. But you have to kind of be on top of it to save those couple of frames. Like you can't dash down and then sit idle for 5 frames and then dash over. Alright. So you actually want to grab this portion of the building here, just so you don't have to walk all the way over here. Just saves a tiny little bit of movement. And then the other reason to do it like that is these pose here kind of go in like hyperbolas, basically. Like you can see them swooping around. And on some RNGs, there will be one up here, in which case you'll come back here and then you'll go right into the path of one of the pose and goodbye 2 hearts. The reason you want to do it this way is because see how you don't go back as far, because the bonking off the hedge actually eats some of your movement there, and now you're a full tile away from that, and you're never going to get hit by the Poe if you do that. If this snake blocks you like this, cancel your dash and then charge a dash over to the right. The 30 frames that it takes you to recharge a dash will be enough for this guy to get out of your way. Yeah, so to ledge hop off of here, this is one of those down cliffs that you can't ledge hop down off of. So what you need to do is walk right and then transition to down right and then jump off. Go 1 pixel higher than that. Yeah, try not to go too far on this movement, because you ended up going about a tile too far there. But I get like you can't see your sprite, so it's kind of hard to optimize that. So what I do here is I always hold diagonal up right here because you can't see your sprite, then you can't see when he stops like moving his feet. Like usually you can look at Link's feet, and once they stop moving, that's the first frame that you can dash. Since you can't see Link here, you have to rely on the unlocked camera here to tell you when you can dash. So definitely hold up right through here to tell you when it's safe. Because if you don't, who knows how long you're going to be standing there idle. Okay. Nothing to say about those. Like you know what to do. You just messed it up. Okay. So for this room, you probably know about the God Pixel, but there's one pixel that you can hit that you can dash this whole room and then hit the door and not have to worry about any of the enemies at all. That pixel is when Link's shadow is touching both this black line and this black line. Since Link's shadow is exactly one tile wide, then you'll know that you're on the right pixel if it's touching both. Now, all that to say, you don't want to be holding left when you go through this door. The reason is when you go through this door, it's going to drop you on the grid. The grid is always a multiple of 4 away from another grid. Like you can see the grid lines here. So this pixel that it's going to drop you on is a multiple of 4 pixels from this pixel that you want to be on. Walking initially will go 2 pixels and then 1 and then 2 and then 1, etc. We don't really want that unless we can guarantee that we can go 2 and then 2, and then we can guarantee that we can get on this pixel. Since dashing goes 4 pixels per frame, it actually makes it easier if you don't hold a direction here and you just dash from the pixel it puts you on. It's easier to hit this god pixel here because it's a multiple of 4 from that. Now, still a frame perfect cancel, but it's easier to see the frame that you need to cancel on rather than you go an unspecified amount of pixels left, like right here. You go an unspecified amount of pixels left, and now I don't know which pixel you're on. Now I know which pixel you're on. You're one pixel short of being gridded, because I can see this is the grid right here, and your shadow is 1 pixel behind it. But that's going to be really difficult to see in a run. It's easy for me to see from a still photo here, but that's going to be really difficult to see in a run where this room takes all of like 8 seconds. So just to make it easier on yourself, don't hold any directions through this transition and just dash from wherever it puts you. Don't worry about idle frames for this screen specifically. Just dash whenever it puts you down. Very good. You want to be a little bit faster in the first half of that room because spawning that gel means you were super slow. Okay. You have a plan. Pretty decent plan. I will just run you through the optimal strat just so you can see it. So I menu to bombs here, and then you wanna place this bomb right there, pick it up, and run out. Now now in real time, when you're not going in slow motion, you're gonna want to place this bomb. You're gonna want to place that bomb, and then you need to put a sword slash somewhere in between this moment and the moment that the bomb explodes. So in this RNG specifically, I'm gonna face up. I'm gonna slash, and then I'm gonna take the bomb. So here's how it looks in real time. Like that. For some reason, but you get the general idea. What you're doing is fine, but if you find yourself failing it and you want to change strats, what I'm doing isn't that much harder. It looks scarier, but it's really not. You actually didn't have to wait that long, because by the time you end up dashing, look at how far these things are away. You want to dash through like that. You want to be dashing through this line right here. All right, now how do you do that? Essentially, there are a couple different ways. You can either just like take a step to the right, or you can just dash straight down. But you don't want to do that right away, or else you're gonna get knocked. You want to wait until about there. So I'm looking for this part of the spike to hit this part of the flap. So like there, you would be good to dash. What I actually do in that room though, and it's like maybe 2 frames slower than hitting the optimal strat, is to just tap the boots before dashing down. Tap, tap. Tap, fold. Tap, fold. Tap, fold. Tap, fold. This isn't working. I'm trying to time it, but like I've just done that strat for so long that I forgot what the timing is. There we go. Okay. So I was telling you to go too early. You want this position. Essentially, just so that this spike is on the right side. So as you see, timing it is slightly faster, but this is a lot easier for me. So you're at 6 bombs here. Technically, you don't need this bomb. Now, I'm not telling you to optimize your ammo route. If this bomb makes you feel more comfortable, then by all means, just go get it. But this is probably one of the slowest bombs in the game to get, so if you can skip this bomb, I recommend doing it. This bomb costs, I don't know, like 1.7 seconds or something like that, and that's really, really slow. You can make up this bomb somewhere else. Also, hammering pots is not faster than just picking it up and throwing it. Well, that's weird. Never had that happen before. Think maybe you were just a little too perfect on your stair cancel, and then he took the short movement, so you can be a little heavy-handed on that stair cancel because you need to get in position to knock that guy. Technically, you want to try to get the chest first here, because if you do the optimal diagonal movement, you'll get the chest first, and then you'll just walk left into the maiden, and then be able to dash down through here. Yeah. So the same thing I was talking about in the Hellway applies here, and you do it correctly this time, which is this key door is a multiple of 4 pixels from where it puts you over here, so just don't hold any directions and dash, and then you get a free key dash there. Okay. It's a decent room. If that guy is sparking, just slash twice and then dash, and then he should be done by the time you get up there. Okay. One thing I will recommend here, I always say to pick up pots rather than hammering them. This is one of the situations where you kind of want to hammer a pot, because just like you're gonna see here, your sword is gonna scare away this skeleton. And now if you turn up and hammer this pot, you're gonna hit this skeleton too. And then you won't get knocked like you do here. So I would do exactly what you're doing there. Just dash over under the pot and then hammer up. Just because you're doing 2 things at once here, and that makes it a little better to hammer there. You actually want to nudge 1 pixel up right there. That door is not gridded up for some reason. This looks all right. So the first 2 phases kind of looks like how I do the blind script, and then you do the bonk, which doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter how you do it. Just find one that works and do it. All right, you actually want to pause a little earlier here. So out of the door first. So you've got it right. You just hold down right until you get to here. And then you dash down, and then I use the menu here. Hold down right out of the menu to cancel the dash. Walk down to essentially think of this hedge as an arrow telling you where to put the bomb. And then you walk down here until you get to about that second little tick. And then you throw it. I hate this screen, by the way. I always end up taking damage here, so yeah. Good call going for the bomb recovery there. You're slowing down to do it like that, you might as well try to get some extra benefit out of it as well. Okay. wrong with that. So you actually want to put yourself on this pixel, because this is a clean dash line right here. So you actually want to transition with the frog right here, kind of on the other side of this path. So you go. So you did the right thing coming from the brewery, which puts you, I think, here, so that you can go and get this dash line. But when you're coming back, definitely want to transition like right there, so that you can get that dash line on the other side of the tree. You want to dash up to the dwarf, and then while you're dashing, just spam A, and once you're near him, you'll talk to him. This is another instance of dashing down ladders isn't slower than just walking, so you might as well just take the time gain from getting this with dash speed, and then you also get a tile or so with dash speed here because your dash line is right along the fence. Definitely want to spin speed off of that. You also take note of how high I am on the screen versus where you are on the screen, because you definitely want to have your warp way up here, just so you don't have to walk this extra distance. Nope, you tried. Nice try, but yeah. That's not really worth practicing. Just go for it, and if you get it, you get it. But not worth practicing yet. Oh, I'll put it that way. So, the correct number of times to dash in Sea House is 2. Right here. And right here. It's interesting that that you think it's interesting that you would dash here, but not on the way back. And I think it's because you kind of intuitively know that you're not supposed to dash here. Because you just want to walk these 2 tiles, and then you want to diagonal up to the chest, and then you want to diagonal back. So yeah, only dash up and down. And then if you want to, for the memes, you can do a muffin dash, which is to dash starting at the door and go out the door. That's not far enough over. Yeah, just walk a little bit further over. So, this dash line looks scary, but it's really not, and you just need to know how to do it. So, you can actually stand right here. There's nothing stopping you from just standing right here. But we want to go fast. So, what you need to do if I just try to dash like that, I'm gonna get it canceled and get hit. Reason being, if you're dashing in pit state and you're holding a direction, uh, something happens where your dash gets canceled. So what you need to do is charge the dash, turn up, and then let go of any directions. And then you'll dash like you're dashing normally. That applies against any pit, not just Overworld or not just in Skullwoods. Nicely done. Okay. No notes. Perfect. The only thing I will say is if things start to go wrong, you can menu to the boomerang and boomerang the mummies. Uh, you end up wasting like 2 seconds that way, but you can waste a lot more than 2 seconds if you take like multiple hits from the mummies, and it also preserves your health for the end of the dungeon. This is the same exact bomb jump as Hera, so refer back to there for my notes on that. Very good. So the reason that we fall down the hole here, rather than like bonking over or anything else, the reason that we fall down the hole here is so that we get these iframes, and then we can use these iframes to not have to slash this guy. If you just go diagonal here, your iframes are going to persist until about right here. So no matter how this guy jumps, you'll always phase through him. Yep. There's a fun little double dash you can do in that room, but I wouldn't worry about it. Perfect. That's like one of the perfect places to menu, because you need to menu to the fire rod at some point, and you only have like a one tile and change gap to get through here. So that's a really good spot to do a menu. Not 100% certain if that dash is worth it, but you know, I don't think it's like losing a shit ton of time, so no reason to like change anything. Okay. Not 100% sure what went wrong there. Your setup is a little bit far to the left. But that shouldn't have caused you to miss like that. Okay. You needed to slash earlier. You needed to slash when you were like there. Because then that would have sent him into the left of the spike, and then you could have just walked down and slashed him again. This guy's going down, but he's eventually going to go up, so you probably take damage from him. Yeah, and then you just end up being too high here because you slashed him into the left part of the spike instead of the top part of the spike, so you needed to like right here when you sorry, this isn't the initial sword swing. So here's your initial sword swing. So when you put this sword away, in this amount of time, you need to nudge yourself down just a little bit. If you ever slash him into the left part of the spike, you need to nudge down a little bit. Or else, just like what happened here, is he's gonna be outside of your arc here. and then you're gonna have things go awry. Eh, you can start this fight a little closer to the top because Moth's hitbox doesn't fully come onto the screen until she like she'll go all the way up and then start coming down, and then that's when her hitbox turns on. Optimally, you want to be dashing into her when her hitbox turns on, so but what you did there was fine. You handled the situation, you controlled the room. Skip past this. Very good. Free quick warp. So it's always faster to walk into the bird, make the bird's job a little easier. You also kind of want to tap the boots whenever you play the flute. You'll see a lot of people do this. There is a purpose to it. It's not just to make the thing sound funny. It does actually save a little bit of time on the bird call. And then so what you want to do here is just immediately menu to flute. And then like you'll be holding down right at this point. So menu to flute. While the menu's scrolling up, you want to buffer down right. You want to down right to the obstacle while calling the bird. So like that. And then you want to slash at that guard twice and then walk left. Alright. That. Okay. I may come back to that screen because I don't have your sound on. I have Spotify on, so I don't know if you tooted your flute. All right, so right here, you're on the grid right now because you just went into the castle gate. You don't want to be on the grid here. You wanna nudge one pixel down, and you wanna take that dash line. For this exact reason, like you're cutting more grass here versus if you had gone one pixel down, you would cut these grasses right here. Now that would also cause you to cut all of this grass, but you're getting significantly slowed down by not being on the right pixel here. So after you warp here, you just want to nudge one pixel down and then dash turn. Okay, you're doing the FMG strat, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I just do it slightly differently. There is a quick warp here that you can try to hit, but don't worry about it too much. That one takes a bit more effort because you have to line up on the castle gate and then you need to go one pixel to the left. So what I end up doing is just bump off of the gate and then try to go one more pixel before I menu. And that's another one of, if you hit it, you hit it, and if you don't, you don't. Okay. So for this, I walk all the way up to the top here, and then I dash to the right until until like there-ish. I usually cancel about there. You can probably go a little bit more. No, okay. So yeah, run over to here, cancel, and then line yourself up with this little patch of grass right here, and then go straight up. So, what it'll look like in real time. Strat that you're doing, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not what I do. So I just wanted to show what I do to see if maybe you like that better. So as long as you nudge down, which you didn't, so you kind of got lucky here. If you're gonna do the double dash here, you need to realign yourself with the cliff here, because if you're on the wrong subpixel, you can actually miss this guy, and that's unfortunate. So either walk around this guy and just ignore him completely, or through the screen transition, you have to hold down right, and then that'll always hit the guy, and you don't have to be scared and run away like this. You can just walk through his dying corpse and set up for lottery or Louis or whatever dash you end up doing here. To be completely frank, I have always done lottery dash because that's the way that I learned it. That's the way that I was taught, and it's the fastest strat. So I've never seen any point in changing it. Lottery dash can really, when lottery dash goes wrong, it can really hurt you. So in order to completely prevent that option, what you would do is after dashing to here, you would just kind of make your way over to this line of bushes and then dash through here. You can also try to go through this line of bushes, but I've gotten hit doing that too. Like the same rate as I get hit with lottery. So the safe way to do this is to go through these bushes. Again, your mileage may vary. I have never done that strat, but I can definitely support it because I do see the merit behind it. But everything up to you. I noticed you didn't get any safeties, so you might be try-harding and not really care if you get knocked there. Your backup if you take damage is this 50-50 bush, or if you're really desperate, you can kill crabs because they're in the heart pack. Okay. So you need to have flute to go from the ped screen to Link's house, but somewhere between Link's house and Catfish, you have a menu that you can use. So use it to align yourself for a strat, use it to uh, stop a dash somewhere, use it on the pyramid screen to read RNG if you have to, like, use it somewhere. I use mine to set up the quick warp on the gate, but make sure that you're utilizing this menu, because having it right here isn't doing anybody any good. When you menu, you should always try to do two things at once, one of which is switching items. So always use menus to either read RNG or stop Link's movement for some reason, or like set yourself up on some sort of pixel, see your pixel alignment, stuff like that. Okay, the basic movement that you're doing there is fine. You didn't have to nudge to the left there. There's actually a pretty big hitbox for this. You can be in like anywhere, like right here, and trigger the cutscene. The reason you don't want to nudge to the left there is now you don't know if you're on a good dash line downwards, and I think you're like a couple pixels off actually. You may even be fine here, but you don't know that. What you want to do is just dash straight up and then leave on the dash line that you came in on because you know that's a safe dash line because you just came in on it. Oh, yeah, you're way off there. That dash isn't worth it. Just walk. The reason that dash is not worth it is because you can actually dash on this line right here. It'll look like you're going over deep water, but you're really not. So this is a product of attempting to draw circles with squares, or with hexagons, whatever. I think it's squares. Alright. Do the Zora screen exactly like that every single time. Right? And then this is what I mean. You leave on the dash line you came in on. Dash down. Swim. And then you want to go 1, 2, 3, dash. Dash turn. See how far above the shallow water I am right now? Oh yeah, if you need bombs, you can kill Zoras. They have 100% drop rate. Anyway, see how far I am above where it looks like the shallow water is? This is the dash line that you want to be on. Because eventually you're going to have to go up. And now I'm up here, and you're going to end up down here and have to make up this, like, tile here of movement. And especially at 1.25 pixels per frame, that's not exactly... Or, it's diagonal movement, so I think it's 1.5 pixels per frame in the water, but... Still, it's a tiny little thing that you won't have to worry about if you just do this correctly. So what I listen for or look for is after I get on the shallow water here, Link will take 3 steps down and then dash turn, and you'll be able to audibly hear splish splash splish, or you can, like, if you don't play with sound on, you can watch his feet and you watch him physically take 3 steps down. And it's not perfect, but usually gets me where I need to be. Another important thing to note, wherever you enter this screen is where it's going to put you when you exit. So if I enter it over here, even if I exit all the way over here, it's still going to put me on where I entered it. So for whatever that's worth, no matter where you end up on the screen, you're going to do the same movement to get where you need to go next. So it's not that important, it's just good to keep in mind. So this is another part where we're gonna intentionally slow down in order to go faster. So yeah, you could take this dash line and then walk over and then get on this dash line. But what if you only had to dash once? And then you got a nice big dash line. So you want to walk over to the slope, dash on the slope, and then when you're about halfway down, like right here, like See, there's 1, 2, 3 bumps on this slope. When you're at the second bump, you want to menu to fire rod. During this menu, you want to see whether you have a clear path to the portal or not, which I do. So then you swim straight to the portal. Okay. Clear. Swim to the portal. I think my RNG is locked. Alright. It's not locked, I'm just getting favorable patterns. Okay. So now, I menu to fire rod. Now look at where that whirlpool is. I'm blocked. I can't do anything about it. So now you just go above the top, dodge that guy's fireball, and you go in. That loses about a second if you have to go across the top, but it's a lot better than getting hit or doing what you're doing here, which is trying to sword beam. Or trying, like, you can technically use a fire rod shot there, but he was not in a position for you to do that. And you really, really want sword beams for this next dungeon. Okay, so it does seem like you tooted the flute, which is fine. Yeah. See, this is why you want sword beams for the dungeon, because this guy getting in your way is terrible. If you have sword beams, you can just do something like that. Okay, so you walk over to the ice, you nudge, like, a step down. Just to set yourself up to double beam these guys. And then you wanna tap the boots to stop your movement so that you're not going to Timbuktu for that key. And then you just walk around this guy. If he gets really annoying, you can fire rod him. Like here, it looks like he's gonna block me, so I just fire rod him. The reason that you fire rod over doing like a sword beam or whatever is to skip this cutscene. If you kill him and he dies while you're still in the room, then the door will open. So that's why you use the fire rod, because you can open this door and get out of the room before he dies. Don't use the fire rod here unless you have to, though. Like here, there's no reason to use the fire rod. He's not going to block you, so just go. Just have it in your back pocket. Because you do technically have an extra fire rod shot from here until the end of the dungeon, because there are 2 small magics right before the boss. Optimally, you don't want to pick up both, but if you have to, you have to. Like, it's faster for you to pick up both magics. It's faster for you to fire rod this guy and have to pick up both magics than it is for you to get knocked all around and have to recover through this guy. You want to go a little bit, you want to go just the teensiest bit further there so you don't spawn this gel. There's, I think, 3 pixels that you can stand on that you're not going to grab the wall, and you're not going to spawn the gel. Spawning the gel just causes like a handful of lag frames, because it has to draw more stuff. I would move that menu. That menu is doing nothing. So what FMG is going to tell you to do, and what you'll see most people do, is something similar to what you did. Which is pick up, hit the button, throw, and then dash out of the room. And that's fast. I don't know why my game's lagging right now. Oh, that's why. Okay. So what FMG is going to tell you to do is spin these guys. I just completely forgot how to do that. Pick up, throw, and then dash out of the room. And like I said, that's fine, that's fast, that can save time. But if you end up on the near side here, it's actually just faster to take the pot with you, and then throw it later. The pot actually gives you a little bit better momentum on the ice. But if you end up like on this line right here or past it, then you definitely want to just throw the pot and dash. But if you're there, you can take the pot with you. So I said you should move your menu from the compass chest room to somewhere else. I would recommend using it in this room when, like, not right when you enter, but like when you're walking up to this crystal switch. Right here, you just menu to bombs, and then you'll get to know like what RNG the barriers are gonna do, if you can slash the switch right away, if you have to go to a side. Oh, and you definitely want to fall down this hole on the top right side. So you have the bomb in the right spot, but you definitely want to fall down this spot. The bomb won't actually hit you. So here you menu, make sure your bomb's in the right spot. And then you demonstrate this, please. See, I'm standing here. Bomb's gonna hit the switch, but it's not gonna hit me. Oh. And then the reason that you do that is so you fall right below that pot and you don't have to fix yourself here. This is another room that you really, really want sword beams for, because without sword beams, that's really your only option, is the way that you just did it. You just have to kind of hope that you're not going to get sparked. But here, you can beam, take damage. Then, after you take damage, you set yourself up to just dash across the whole room. And if the conveyor's going the other way, then you take damage like this, and you set it up like that. But you have to make sure after you take damage that you reestablish yourself against the spikes, because that will put you on the last safe spike pixel. Because you don't have any wiggle room here. Like, this is on the edge of one grid tile, that's on the edge of another grid tile. Now you can, as I've just demonstrated, you can make it past both of them, like this. But that's pixel perfect. And the way you get on that pixel is by taking damage and nudging up against the spike and getting credit up. But you can only do that if you have sword beams. If you don't have sword beams, you kind of just have to hope that you don't get screwed by the berries. All right, let's. You said this was a disaster. Okay, I can kind of see why. Don't. Yeah, you were. You weren't. You weren't close enough to the pit. There, you were fine. You just pulled out of it. Yeah, you're too far away, I think. Yeah. So the dash turn is faster, but I think you'll get more consistent results if when you're unlocking here, you slash, then you just back up to your pixel, and you set it up the same way, and you do a spin rather than trying to do a dash turn. This is slower. It's like a spin animation slower. So like 30 frames or so. But it's a lot more consistent. And especially if you just want to get a run through. Especially if you want to just get a run through, you just sacrifice those 30 seconds to get the run done. Or 30 frames to get the run done. Now, if you really want an ice gold, or you really want to hammer this segment really hard, then yeah, definitely load that up in the prac hack, practice it a bajillion times, and go. But if you want to get runs done, then I would look at doing the spin setup. You can bonk over that pit as long as the fire bar isn't in the way. Okay. Well, it worked even though it was slow, so I won't tell you to do something different if it worked. And it's good that you have a setup facing down there, because sometimes believe it or not, sometimes you're going to have sword beams going into that room, and you definitely want to be able to do that room with sword beams and maintain the sword beams. You always want to face down before dropping there, so you don't have to do it in the next room. And then you gotta drop, so you don't have to worry about recovering. You can optimize that statue push a little more, but I'm not gonna go into it right now. Your movement's a little herky-jerky. This is the first boss that I've seen that you're kind of struggling a little bit with. I don't know how much of that is I'm at 2.5 hearts panic. I'm about to lose a 2-minute ahead run to cold stare. So we can chalk a little bit of it up to that. But for cold stare, you want to normalize your movement as much as possible, because these icicles are on a timer. They will always have the exact same amount of time between them. So since the icicles are normalized, you should also normalize your movement. So to dodge the first icicle, all you have to do is just hold up until you hit the wall and make sure you get your fire rod shots in. And then you go all the way up to the wall before going to the right. So Then you go up to the wall, switch to upright, go to this short little icicle right here, swing your sword, wait till the second icicle drops, and then go down. And you do the rest of the fight as you choose. You can do this with 6/, you can do a 1 poke with this or a double poke. I like the 1 poke, it's because it's not as precise as the double poke. And just remember you have a menu to use, which it looks like you did menu, so. So yeah, just basically look into the spin setup. Looks like the spin setup is what you used to do, and you're in the middle of a strat change, which is fine. Like you don't have to do what I'm recommending. I'm just saying for consistency's sake, that dash turn just kind of sucks. So getting ether here is definitely my preferred method. Since you don't have any bombs, you can actually just go to Swamp Palace first and then just hope you don't take damage before Mire. But if you're really concerned about taking damage before Mire, then definitely just get the ether now and leave Ice Rod till later. Which it looks like you leave Ice Rod till TR anyway. So you might just want to get ether no matter if you have bombs or not. Alright, so just a quick thing here. You need to menu to the book here. So you don't need to sword slash here to set up this ledge hop. Just start menu. Just use your start menu to set up the ledge hop. So the bird is still going to pick you up if you're dashing to the left there, and it saves like 10 frames. They call it free. It's not actually free. It's like free with an asterisk. Anything's free if you do it right. I don't think that hammer dash saves time, but the other one does, just because you're slope dashing out of there, so. Okay, you're off by like a pixel maybe. But yeah, that quick warp is free to go for. And I hit it more often than not, so you probably do too. So for this, so that is the optimal strat, but only if you like actually hit the anti-fairy skip. And the anti-fairy skip sucks. So what I think you should do is just go up the center here. Go up the center here. Grab this from way far away, and then just walk to the left and go down the center. Or just, like, do something like this. Simplify everything. So you can actually grab this lever from decently far away, but if you miss it, it's going to mess up this part. So you can just like cancel your dash at the top of the pipe and then just walk to the lever. Just to make sure everything's nice and normalized. And you get out of there semi-fast. Now, if you miss, for whatever reason, then you can pull, charge your dash, and go, because the anti-fairy is not going to be in your way anymore. Something like that. But don't try hard it too much. Just get your lever pulled, get out of there without taking damage. Take like a full step to the right there instead of the diagonal that you just did, and try to get back on the quick warp pixel. Doesn't always work, but it's better than doing the diagonal. I like to throw that pod down. It doesn't really matter, but I like to throw that pod down just so if that skipper's going to get in your way, then, you know, you just throw it down and it either kills him or, like, it falls short and then he's not in your way. Kind of a win-win. This one, though. Not this room. This room was fine. See, now he's not going to get in my way, and I've made sure of that. This, though, we're gonna test a little bit. Got 439. 439. 439. Whereas this 428. 430. 426. See, what happens here is you have this long diagonal here that will put you on a longer dash line. Maybe not a longer one, but a more effective dash line. And then you're not doing any cardinal movement without dashing here. So, just a tiny little change that can save you a few frames. Dashing up to that pod isn't worth it. Let's do some testing. Dash, pick up and throw, 355. You can walk up, pick up and throw, 354. Or you can... It's supposed to be on hammer here. I use the menu to hammer outside to try and set up quick warps. So it's this one that's walking and picking it up. That's 350. Dashing, picking it up, 352. Dashing and hammering, 354. Hammer dashing, 355. So they're all in that 3-5x range, but if I walk up, hammer, and dash out, I get a 349. Or 345. Okay, this is 4 tiles here when you add the door depth in, but you're not going to be canceling this on the optimal frame because humans just aren't that good or that consistent at canceling dashes like that. You're going to bleed a few frames, and then that just makes the dash not worth it. And then here, what you want to do is use a combination of the hammer and the boots, because when you pick up and throw this, like take note of the lag time for the key. You can't actually pick up the key until it becomes active. So like that. So what you're doing here is you're kind of taking advantage of that fact to charge a dash and make sure that you're getting out of this room faster. See, if I pick up the pot, then I collect the key faster. But I'm moving faster when I go out of the room. So that's how you collect that key. Yeah, so there's two lag reduction strategies here. I wouldn't worry too much about it, but you can either like try to pump through this and then that'll put Link at like this position instead of this one. It'll get you like 3 more pixels of movement. Or the other thing that you can do is grab the wall here to despawn your shield, and that'll save you a handful of lag frames. Because this filling up the room, especially with a bunch of sprites on this screen and other screens on the super tile, lags a lot. And you can reduce it by despawning your shield. It doesn't actually reduce it by much. If you go for it and miss it, you actually lag the screen even more than if you hadn't gone for it at all. So it's like it's very small. If you don't want to bother with it, then yeah, more power to you. We're talking less than 10 frames here. But if you want to look like a pro Zelda gamer, just grab the wall. Personally, I do the pumping thing. I try to get further into the room and just take the lag. You didn't need to kill that guy, by the way. So the reason that you don't need to kill the guy is because you can just hold B here to keep your sword out, and then if he does he end up going upright? Yeah, maybe you did need to kill that guy then, but only on that RNG. Like, don't make a habit out of that. Basically, you want to hold B when you jump off there to maintain your sword being out. And then most of the time it's gonna hit those water skippers. Yeah, so I would play around in this room a little bit. So this handle is going to wiggle 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, and then on the 4th one, see how you're walking through the lever there? What you actually want to be doing is beelining toward the right side of the room here. So when you see this go forward for the 4th time, right there, that's the first frame that you have full control of Link, and the water lever will still trip. So here, what you want to do is right up and then right out of here. If you do things optimally, you can get Link to be like here by the time the water starts to fill. So if you do the movement super optimally, Link will be here when the water starts to fill instead of here. But this is just something you have to play around with in the prac hack till you get the timing down. Yeah, just do your best to not forget to hit that switch. On your second time through this room, you can dash to there, but then you need to like do a quick juke cardinal left. So I go down, and then here I go left to the pipe and then go down, because then you dodge that fireball. Uh, that dash isn't worth it because dashing in water is slower than dashing on land. Uh, and pumping in water, even at a human speed, is close enough to dashing in water for the 4 tiles that you're doing it that it actually ends up being faster to just pump. You can hammer dash through that pot, or you can just go around. It's just all depends on how good you are at hammer dashing, because you do need to hit it first try. Save time. And it's only a few frames, because if you hammer dash, then you have to like you get out of the room faster, but you have to spend the hammer hit to get um to get back into the room. Oh, cool. Yeah, I didn't learn that strat for a long time, but it's good that you know it. It was a little slow because optimally, if you do it fast, this bubble won't spawn at all. But what you did worked, so don't change it. Yep. Hook dash, very good. I would hook down to this pot. So you hook shot at the same rate as dashing, except the hook shot takes less time to charge. The hook shot goes at 4 pixels per frame, and it only goes up to 8 tiles, which means charging the hook shot will always be faster than it'll only ever take up to 16 frames for the hook shot to charge before Link starts moving, whereas it always takes 30 frames for the boots to charge. So I would try to hook shot to the spot. Sometimes this guy gets in the way, and that's fine. You just have to deal with it. But if you hook shot down to this pot, then you like kind of nudge a little bit, because the top of this pot is lined up with this, so you can't dash straight here. You have to actually nudge down a little bit. So hook shot down, nudge down, and then dash off the screen, or dash over to the next part. And then you actually want to take this line all the way to here and pick this up from above, and then optimally you'll just dash up after that. In my experience, this fire snake is going to block you like over half the time, but you're looking for an optimal dash line even if the game doesn't give you one. Yep. Good job. Yeah. So what I said in the room before applies to that room only. This super tile doesn't have quite as many things on it. So grabbing the rail actually doesn't really do anything except for lose you time. So just walk through here. Link will end up about there. There's not really much you can do to lag mitigate here, so just walk through it and don't really worry about it. Definitely pump through that water. Water pumping is a lot easier than land pumping, and it's really, really fast. Yeah, your backup bomb is the bottom one. You didn't really need the arrows, but if you're gonna get the bomb, you might as well get the arrows too. There's a pixel perfect thing you can do here, like if you face to the left and then don't move for more than one frame, like you just cancel the stair drag and then you can hit this slope in a way that it'll like send you around here and into the door, which does save time, but if you don't know how to set it up, it is somewhat pixel perfect. I think there's like 2 or 3 pixels that work for it, but like if you take forever setting it up, then that's less time that you'll save by doing it. So if you don't want to worry about it, then that's fine. Yeah, those water tektites are jerks sometimes. Um. Okay, so the only thing I'm gonna say about this, is that I would just walk up to the boss here, because especially when he has all of his puffs, you hooking this distance is gonna lag pretty significantly, and you kind of want to close the gap here, um, in order to reduce the lag a little bit. So what ends up happening here is walk up to him and then you just like go to the right side here. Even if you don't want to take damage, you can just wait till he like goes down there. And you can do this pretty slow and still guarantee a 1 cycle here. So you can see like 30 lag frames there versus like 25. So it's a few less lag frames if you do it this way. But again, if you don't really have the health to spare, it's understandable that you want to keep your distance. You have plenty of health there, so you can go for a little bit of lag redux. See what? Yep. Don't worry about it if you miss there. Worst case scenario, you just become safe. Don't end up wasting any time, because he's on a cycle. He's on a cycle clock. So you're not going to waste time by missing once. Now, if you miss multiple times, then yeah, try not to do that. But if you miss once, it's fine. And then yeah, if you don't want to deal with him, technically the fire rod strat is about 1.5 seconds faster. But if you don't want to deal with him, double spinning is fine. Double spinning is a lot easier to get consistent, and then you can switch to the fire rod strat when you feel like it, which could be never. And we'll fast forward through that, and we will come back here for part 3.